Hey you guys, it's Miss So Fabulous and I'm here today to do a tag video. I haven't done one of these tag videos in a long time, but I've been seeing this tag called the Prefect Palette Tag and I thought it was pretty interesting, and seeing as though I have lots of eyeshadow palettes, since you guys know I don't like to buy individual eyeshadows, I figured why not go ahead and do this tag. So the first question is the best packaging. And it was really hard for me to have to choose the best packaging just because you guys know I'm a MAC fiend, and MAC's holiday collections, every year they just get superb and more superb and more superb. But I had to give it to Urban Decay because Urban Decay does come out with crazy packaging. And one of the Urban Decay palettes that I have is the Urban Decay Book of Shadows NYC. So this is it here. You see the UD in New York City, and it has different skyline pictures, but this is not what makes this palette crazy. Check this out. And I believe this palette came out either 3 or 4 years ago. And this is what the palette looks like when you open it up. You have all these crazy pop-ups. You have the Eiffel Tower, excuse me. We're not talking about France here. You have the Statue of Liberty. You know, you have, oh my God, I forget what that freaking building is. It's like the tallest building now that the Twin Towers are gone. But just different things that signify New York. Sneakers, you have the taxi man. And the cool thing about it, these little pop-ups light up and you have a really pretty mirror. So I would have to give it to Urban Decay, hands down, because they come up with some of the most clever packaging out there. Although this might be really bulky, it's still quite clever. So the second question is, what is the best color payoff? And this was really hard for me because being a makeup artist, you know, I experienced so many different, you know, brands, and me working at Sephora now, I'm getting introduced to other brands that I haven't tried. So I would like to say, hands down, you know, my favorite, there are multiple and I'm going to name multiple, but my favorite would have to be anything MAC. All of MAC's eyeshadows are awesome coverage. Now, I'm not going to say all the time. Sometimes MAC comes out with a little bit of but I absolutely love MAC's color payoff on their eyeshadows. Urban Decay as well, especially their shimmery, you know, their shimmery colors. You can't go wrong with Urban Decay shadows. They're super and highly pigmented products as well. Also, I would have to say, hands down as well, the Wet n Wild palettes. For these to be a drugstore brand, these palettes right here are absolutely amazing. And if you don't have the funds to go out and buy any high-end makeup products, Wet n Wild works just as well. And you can create a beautiful look and nobody will ever be able to know that you're not wearing MAC or YSL or Chanel. You know, so Wet n Wild also. So, number 3. The next question is, what palette is the most versatile? And this was really hard for me as well because, once again, I do have lots and lots of palettes. So, one of the first palettes I want to talk about is the Lorac Pro palette. I don't have that on me because that is in my makeup kit at my shop. But yeah, absolutely love that Lorac Pro palette. I use that for everything. They have great transitional colors in there as well. I also use that palette as well to fill in eyebrows. And then I also want to talk about the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. I forget what this palette is called. I believe this is the Hollywood palette, and this is it right here, and I absolutely love this one as well. I feel that this is also very versatile because you get a lot of neutral colors, so you can create a wonderful, you know, everyday look, work appropriate look. Even if you're in school and high school and don't want to wear too much color and you want a nice natural look, you can create that as well. But then also, this is a great palette because if you wanted to go out and create that smoky look and give yourself a nice pop of color, you can do that also with this palette, and that's why I really enjoy this palette also. So this would have to be definitely my most versatile palette. So question number 4 is the best for traveling, and I would have to definitely say it would go hands down go to my Urban Decay Naked Basics palette. I keep this in my everyday makeup bag. This is great for traveling because it's super sleek, and the great thing about it, they have colors in here. They're all matte shadows except for the first one right here, but these are great shadows right here to create a perfect everyday look, and this is also a great palette to smoke it up for a nighttime look as well. So I definitely like this as well, and this is my hands down go-to palette when traveling. And then what I'll do is take some of my MAC shadows, like say this one as well with some color, and just bring this with it because I can use my transition colors in here, bring my pop-up colors in here, and then use this to add, you know, that smoky definition that I want to any eye look. So yes, this would have to be my hands down favorite palette to travel with. Now the fourth question, and you guys are gonna be like, oh my god, the fourth question is the biggest regrets. Okay, I have a lot of regrets for palettes that I wish I never bought, and you guys are gonna think I'm absolutely crazy because people rant and rave over these, but I don't have them with me today because they are in my makeup kit as well. I regret buying the Naked palette. I just don't like it at all. I love Urban Decay, but there's too many shimmery colors, and there's no way possible that you can possibly create a full eye look using all shimmery colors. I mean, if they mixed it together, it would be bomb. And that's why I really enjoyed this palette as well. This is the only way that I can use my Naked palette, one or two, is if I have this with me. Other than that, there's no way possible. I mean, I don't even use the Naked one. I haven't used the Naked one probably in 2 years. And then in the Naked 2 palette, the only color I use in there is Verve. So yeah, I really regret buying those palettes as well. Another palette that I regret buying are the Sleek palettes. I absolutely love Beauty by JJ here on YouTube, and she uses a lot of sleek products in her makeup tutorials, but I don't know if it's just the color palettes that I particularly bought, but I mean, they do nothing for me. I feel like these colors are very chalky. Not all of them. Some of the lighter pastel shades are very chalky. The darker shades are very pigmented. It's just the lighter shades are, you know, very chalky, and I just never used it. I used it once when I first purchased it and haven't picked it up again. And then also this one as well. Once again, the lighter shades are very chalky, but the darker shades are super pigmented. But yeah, it just goes back to, you know, me haven't picked it up since I bought it. And then another palette, or I should say palettes, is anything Coastal Scents. I love my Coastal Scents Creative Me #1 palette. Those colors are super pigmented and gorgeous. Love that. But this Creative Me #2, as you can see, I really haven't used it. These are really all shimmery colors. Once again, I can't really do much with them. They're still great color payoff, but I don't use them, and I don't use my Coastal Scents you know, 120 palettes as well. I just don't know. I just prefer some of my more higher end brand. I don't like chalky eyeshadows, and sometimes you can get good color payoff with some of those, but I feel that BH Cosmetics, although they may be the same palette, there's something about the formulation in the BH Cosmetic palettes that work a little bit better than the Coastal Scents palettes. So yeah, these would definitely have to be my biggest regret buying. So the sixth question is the best color names, and that was really hard for me to decide. I mean, Urban Decay has some really crazy names. The Kat Von D palettes have some really crazy names as well. But I mean, it was really hard for me to choose because I do have so many palettes, and it was just absolutely crazy. I would have to say NARS, like my NARS blush palette right here. This is what it looks like inside. This one came out either last year or 2 years ago. I believe it was 2 years ago. They have a new one out now. But NARS has some crazy names, like they have very sexual names like Orgasm, Super Orgasm, Deep Throat. Like these are some crazy names. So I would have to give it to NARS. And The seventh question is the least used, and once again that would have to go back to my Urban Decay Naked palette, the sleek palettes, my 120 palettes. Those palettes, those are probably the least used. Definitely, you know, the sleek ones and the Coastal Scents palettes that I stated. And the last question is most used, most loved, and desert island. So basically this is 3 questions in one. So the most used palette that I absolutely own is the Lorac Pro palette, which is in my makeup kit as I stated, and also the Naked Basics palette. I use this absolutely every day. I'm almost hitting pan on this color right here because I use this color as a transition color in my crease, and also use this color to fill in my eyebrows as well. And I use this shade right here to highlight the inner tear ducts in my eyes. So this would have to be my most used palette because I use this every day. In my Lorac Pro palette, I use that in my kit on clients every single day. Like I've hit pan on like half of those palettes in half of those colors in that palette. I'm kind of wondering if I can purchase the taupe color separately because I use that for everyone as a transitional color. So my most loved palette, my most loved palette, I would have to say all of my MAC palettes and all of my Inglot palettes. I don't have those on me as well because I keep those in my kits. I absolutely love those because those are the palettes that have the most pigmentation, the most color variety for me. So those are my most loved palette. And if I had to choose a palette to bring with me on a desert island, hands down, I think it would have to go back to the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette because, I mean, I can create so many different looks with this, from a neutral smoky eye to a dark smoky eye to an everyday look to a light wash of color. Even if sometimes what I do is just put a highlight color and just some eyeliner and I'm good to go. So this would definitely have to be the palette that I bring with me to a desert island. But yeah, you guys, that is it. That completes this tag. I tagged all of you guys to do this tag. I hope you enjoyed as always. If you have any questions or suggestions on other palettes that I should try, please leave them in the comment section below. But remember to always rate, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/MissSoFabulous TV, Facebook, facebook.com/MissSoFabulous. Remember, you guys have a nice and wonderful day. Bye.